What up, and welcome back to another episode of Throwback Thursday. We're doing The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 11, I Ain't a Judas, which I don't believe was actually said in the entire episode. I could be wrong. But in this episode, it starts out with them talking. They're in the prison. They're talking about, we should have left last night, because after the attack. That's the problem. See, we just had a really good episode last episode, so this one was like a downer. So like we should have left after the attack. They're kind of arguing with each other, and Beth's like, we can't even go outside because we don't know if they're gonna be doing anything. And Glenn goes, well, Rick says we're staying, so we're staying. And then Merle says, oh yeah. Something like, oh, anyway, they're all arguing, and Herschel's like, we should have left. He's upset too, or whatever. And Merle goes, yeah, it was better off to run like rats or whatever. He goes, what would you do, And he's like, well, we should have left last night when we had the chance. And he goes, no, there's no point. There's no point of leaving. He says the governor's probably got people surrounding this fucking prison right now, scoping us out. He's probably got the roads blocked off. Funny enough, there's somebody that does that later on. It's Negan. Negan did that shit. That was scary. When Negan and the Saviors, they were fucking scary. So he basically tells them like there's nothing to do. There's really no reason for us to stay here anymore. He's saying they got the numbers. They got the people. They got the artillery. Like there ain't no fighting this guy or whatever. And then they get angry at Merle, Maggie gets mad at him, and then Daryl's like, I don't care, I'm gonna kill him or whatever. And Herschel's like, look, we already lost people. We can't sit here anymore. And Rick's like, I gotta go outside. And then Herschel, for the first time, I don't think he screamed in season 2. He yells at Rick. He says, like, get back here. And he's like, you're slipping, Rick. He's like, we understand why it happened, but you said this wasn't a democracy at one point, which was in the last season. And he goes, well, now it's time to put up or shut up. Like, now is the time. You said you were going to be the leader. Now you got to be the leader. I put my family's lives in your hand. And Rick goes out and he starts scoping the surrounding area of the prison, looking to see if the governor's, lurking or has people watching. And he sees something, which I think is probably Lori out there. And then all of a sudden Carl comes out. And then Carl's talking to him. It's like, you should give it up, right? And he looks at him and goes, what? He goes, being the leader, you should give it up. Let Daryl and Herschel do it. You need some rest. And then he just looks at his son like, holy shit, I'm even letting down my kid? And then the episode starts. It wasn't a good start. Then we go to Woodbury, and the governor is talking to Milton about how many people they have because the governor is going to war. He doesn't give a shit. He's going to war. So Milton's writing down all the able bodies, how many people are sick and elderly, and how many people are willing to fight. And they go, okay, we got 20 people. And then the governor goes, how about everyone 13 and up? And he's like, they mean children or adolescents, he calls them. And the governor goes, that's a term that was, basically, like, that term was created in the good times of society. Back in the day, when you were a young person, if you were fit and able, ready to serve, you'd go to war. I don't know if it was 13. Maybe back when, in real old times. I'm talking about like the Roman Empire and shit like that. Maybe. But 13 is pretty young. And it's pretty scary if you're a parent and your little kid's going to go. But, the governor, that's what... Andrea walks in, and she basically finds this out. And she's like, wait, first she goes, you went to the prison? You told me you weren't going to go to the prison. And you went over there? And he's like, oh, we went over to have a discussion. They started shooting at us, so we returned fire. And she's like, let me go. Let me talk to them. And we need a peace deal. And he goes, he's basically like, no, there's no peace deal. Like, this is not going to happen. And then she's like, you guys, like, you have innocent people here, and they have innocent people there, and I know them. Like, we could work this out. And the governor's like, no. And the governor tells her, if you go to the prison, stay there. Like, don't come back. Like, stay over there. And she's like, oh, shit. So she goes to find Milton and asks Milton for her help. And then Milton goes and tells the governor that she asked for help to escape, basically. Well, I think she actually goes out and she sees that they're arming. That's what motivates her to actually go to the prison, is the fact that she knows these people aren't ready for this. And she was there. She saw that they have no idea. That girl that got killed in the fight or whatever, she was pretending she was something she isn't. And she knows these people aren't ready. And then he's recruiting kids now to fight in the war. And then she had a little banter with Martinez. And she's like, I thought you were teaching them how to fight, not building a military. And he's like, he was a piece of shit all the time. And he's like, listen, lady, the only way to defend ourselves is with the military. And then she didn't say anything. Then we go back to the prison, and it's still argument time. So this episode is really about, like, I don't know. It's kind of like the crumbling of Rick's group and the crumbling of Woodbury. These two places are crumbling under both leaders, basically, because yes, the governor is not crumbling in the sense that he has the people, he has the weapons, but he doesn't really have the people. Like, the people can't fight. They don't know anything. Rick's group, they could do it. It just took a small amount of them to basically cause hell, pandemonium in the fucking Woodbury. You know, just so the governor's kind of falling apart too. He has to recruit fucking 13-year-olds and elderly people. So they argue because they said that basically they can't go outside. They want Maggie to go stay at the watchtower, and then Glenn's like, so basically we're stuck in here and we barely have any food and we barely have any ammo. And then Daryl's like, well, because we dealt with this before, right? And he's like, yeah, that's before we had more mouths to feed. And he goes, before this was a snake's pit or some shit like that. And he goes, what are you talking about? So they get into an argument over Merle. And then I think it was here or later on, Rick basically tells like Glenn, like, listen, you gotta live with it. That's it. Like, he's here, and I'm not losing Daryl again. So just deal with it. Just deal with him here. Herschel talks to Merle. Because I believe after this, I think maybe it's later, Glenn suggests to trade Merle and for something, for like a piece or whatever, like give him back the trader or whatever the fuck, I don't know. But that's when Rick shuts it down. And he's like, no, like that's it, like this is not happening. So Herschel and Merle start talking. Wait, I forgot one thing. During the argument, I believe, when I think Glenn did offer this, I did think he did suggest to give up Merle. Herschel's like, we need the fighting power, number one. All right, it's like, hey, kid, listen, I know you're upset that he did this, but we need him. He has military experience, and he knows the governor, and he knows the layout in case we have to go over to there, you know? So then when Herschel and Merle are talking, this is a good part that happened. Merle tells Herschel what Herschel doesn't want to hear. And he's basically like, the governor, what he's going to do is the first person he's going to kill is me. He's going to kill me, then Michonne. Then he's going to kill anybody else. Your daughters, Glenn, the other girl, Carol, the baby, and it goes, and he's gonna leave you, and then he's gonna leave Rick for last. He says Rick's gonna be the last one because he just wants to watch Rick suffer. Herschel is kind of taken back. Also, you hear that Merle's kind of religious, even though he's a piece of shit. He like recites scripture to him. Daryl and Carol have a little moment when they talk about whatever, and she's like, he's your brother, but like don't lose yourself for him, because no matter what, at the end of the day, he's not really worth it, basically. So the governor sees the people he has, and he's kind of looking like, and there's this little old lady that's willing to fight. He's like, it's okay, we'll fight somebody else. And then there's a boy there, and they say he has asthma. He's 13. He looks like he's 20, but whatever, he's 13. And then he goes, well, have you ever shot a gun before? He's like, a BB gun, but my mom took it away from me. And he's like, we're going to teach you how to we're going to learn from one of the best shooters here how to shoot a gun. And basically telling like Andrea, because she's the one that said it, and the mom, like, go fuck yourselves. This kid's going to war. And I'm surprised that they didn't start deciding to leave that now. You know, remember they wanted to leave when they were attacked. Why didn't a lot of the people in the town want to leave when the governor's saying, let's go to war? Why am I going to go fight these people if they're in their place? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, this is why they would have to be like a committee of people or something, or the people would protest and say, listen, wait a second here. Okay, you said that these people came in and invaded. They wanted what we have, but they're not doing anything now. It's been a few days now. I think it's been 6 days since Glenn and Maggie were kidnapped and they went in, or maybe 3 days, let's say. So it's been a while. They haven't come in a while. And the governor could say, well, they're going to come. I don't know. But anyway, Andrea sees that this is terrible. So this is when she asked Milton to help her. She says, don't tell him. He tells the governor. Then anyway, they go out. And what she's doing is, well, I didn't understand what she was doing because I'm like, what the fuck are they getting a walker? Because the governor tells Milton, because Milton tells the governor that she's planning to escape, and she asks for his help. And the governor says, help her. And he's like, is this a test? And she goes, no, help her go. So Milton does. So then they get this walker, and I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? And then she starts cutting his arms, and then I realize, oh, she's doing the Michonne. She's cutting the walker up to use him as a guide. But all of a sudden, they get not ambushed, but these people all of a sudden stumble upon them, and it's Tyrese and Sasha and the two other fuckers that nobody cares about. So they stumble upon them, and then Andrea tells Milton, take him back to Woodbury, and he does. So that was like, oh, fuck. I remember when this actually aired, I was kind of like, oh, shit, this is not good. Anyway, so Milton takes Sasha and Tyrese and them to Woodbury, and Andrea leaves. Where does Andrea go? She goes to the prison. And she goes to bringing the walker in, but they don't trust her, so they kind of like, she's kind of surprised in how they greet her because they're greeting her like a traitor. She comes in, they pull her in, they throw her on the floor, they tell her to put her hands up, they search her. They basically treat her like fucking like the enemy, which because they know that she's sleeping with the governor, so or that she's cozy with him or whatever the fuck. Because Michonne said whatever she said, so she goes in like, and they just throw her in, and they're like, "Welcome back." After they searched her, whatever. She's like, "It's me. Like, what are you doing?" And he goes, "We told you to tell us if you're alone." She goes, "Yeah, I'm alone." And he goes, "Welcome back." They bring her in the prison. She looks around. She's like, "Oh my God, you guys are living here," and like, because. Oh, I don't know, stupid. I mean, just because you have a nice place now, can't you remember where you were a few months ago or a month ago? You were fucking dying outside nowhere. They have shelter at least. Yeah, it's fucked up, but they have something. You were fucking with Michonne alone. Anyway. So, so basically, this is the best part of the episode is a little reunion because it's the first time Andrea's seeing everybody, and I'm pretty sure it's probably the first time she was actually on set with everyone in them. So it's probably really nice that they were all together for real while they were filming this because she was off at Woodbury most of the time. And I don't know if you guys know this, if you're not into movies and television, but all the actors don't show up every day for set, even if it's another actor filming. They only show up the day they're supposed to in their scenes, and that's it. So most likely she didn't see any of them until this episode. So she luckily got to see them, and it was nice to see her back with the group. At the same time, you remember, oh my God, she hasn't been with them, so she had no idea about Shane that Rick killed Shane. She has no idea Lori got killed. She has no idea how Lori got killed. She has no idea that T-Dog's dead, even though she never asked about him. Carol brought him up. Who else have we been missing that she mentioned that she did mention? Like, where's this person? I was like, yeah, they're dead. I forgot who it was. It was Lori was one of them. The other one, I really forgot. And she just looked at Herschel's foot, and she's like, what the fuck? And anyway, so they're still treating her like, well, everyone but Carol. Carol's kind of open to her. And so then she explains, like, so I go, so what's it? She's like, your governor, your boyfriend, he came in and he attacked us. He started shooting at us. He threw in a car with walkers and fucked this whole thing up. Like, that's why we're not trusting of you, you dumbass. And then I guess she kind of gets into it with Michonne. Like, what'd you tell them? And then they goes, she didn't tell us anything. She goes, the truth. Michonne says the truth. And then she goes, I don't know what she told you, but blah, 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 blah. And he's like, why are you here? And she goes, because there's good people there, and I could work this out with the governor and whatever. And I'm surprised Merle didn't say anything, like, listen, whatever. But, you know, but she does mention, she's like, oh, you're all blaming him, but it's him. It's his fault. It's like it's Merle's fault that you guys got kidnapped in the first place, right? Which is true. It made no sense except just to continue this stupid story. I mean, it didn't make sense for Merle to kidnap them if he wanted to see Daryl. That's what doesn't make any sense. He could have just held her and then said, take me to my brother, or I'm going to shoot your bitch in the head. I'm going to shoot this girl in the head. I would say bitch, but, you know. And Glenn would have said, okay. But they just did it for the story. Fine. All right, whatever. Oh, Shane. That's who she asked, which I mentioned he died. She says, where's Shane? He's dead. Where's Lori? She's dead. She's dead. Herschel, your foot. So that's the one. It was Shane. And then later on, So then later on, Carol's like, okay, because they basically tell her, just like go, like you can't stop this. We're gonna kill him or whatever. And she's like, I have to stop this because there's good people there and there's room for you. And there's no us going there. That's it. It's over. And then Michonne and Andrea talk, and basically she's like, Michonne tells her, she's like, because Andrea's like, why did you do this? Why did you tell them all these things? You know, because I stood at Woodbury, and he goes, no. And she goes, because the governor sent Merle to kill me after I left. And he's like, he would have done the same thing if you left. He would have sent them to kill both of us. So he's like, but you decided to sleep with him instead of come with me. You know, that's how you treat your friends. Because she said, go to hell. So that was like, she was like, oh shit, I didn't know this guy's really fucked up. So this is the part that I don't like about the writing. And it's a woman that wrote this, but whatever. So she goes back and talks to Carol, says, I want to see the baby before I go. And then that's when she finds out how Lori died and that Carl did it. And she's like, oh my God. And Shane, like, how did he die? It's just Rick killed him. And he goes, what? What? Because she liked Shane. And he goes, it happened the night we all got split up. Shane, everything with Randall, which was the guy from Boardwalk Empire and Rescue Me, everything that he said about that was a lie. He went to kill Rick, and he goes, Shane loved Rick, and then Carol's like, Shane loved Lori. Get your head out of your ass because you seem blinded by a lot of things. But so Andrea is all fucked up. Like she sees that the people she loved and cared about now are treating her cold and standoffish, and she wants to help them because she sees that they're struggling to survive. And now she's in love with a guy who's a fucking psychopath who, if she takes them at their word, and she has to, because Michonne's they're all telling her this motherfucker's crazy. Even Merle, he's like, listen, I was there. Yes, I was with fucking this guy because I did what I had to do to be with him, but this fucker's gonna kill me now. Like, I want to be with my brother. I wanted to be with my brother. I was going to leave or try to get my brother to come to the house. But this guy's going to kill me. And he's going to kill all of us. This is how he is. I worked under him. I should know. So Andrew's all fucked up. Then, so they give her a car to go back to Woodbury. In this time period, Tyrese and Sasha are in the medical office or the doctor's office in Woodbury talking to the governor. And he basically says, we're going to send you on your way, which I would assume means they're going to kill them, because if they wanted to do that to Michonne and them, why wouldn't they wouldn't keep these guys, give them things or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. It didn't make much sense that Milton would bring them in the first place, because he'd be like, we don't really have the supplies and stuff to take care of you, especially since, we're going to war right now. But they basically, the governor tells them, like, we're going to war, we have a problem with some people. And then they somehow bring up that they were at the prison and they got kicked out by Rick. And then the governor's like, what? He's like, you were at the prison? And so now this is the part that really fucks with me, and I don't think I understood it the first time I watched it, or went by my head. I had no idea that they are aware, Tyrese and Sasha are aware, that it's Rick's group and people that the governor's going after. Now, it necessarily doesn't matter because Tyrese has no allegiance to them, because although they took him in for a brief period of time, they did feed him, they did give him water, but then when Rick came, he started acting crazy. Nearly put a gun on my face. But, I mean, Tyrese, you got to be an idiot. He was looking over here the entire time. He wasn't looking at you, so I wasn't putting a gun at your face. Well, he kind of did. He waved it all around. So Milton's like, oh, you've been in the prison? You could, can you show me the layout? Tell me the layout. He goes, I could try to remember. There's like a maze in there, and, So now the governor's like, okay, well, you're going to keep you could fight. Because they said, we'll help. That's the part that bothered me. Because Tyrese is like, we'll help. We'll help you fucking kill the people that just helped us. Well, I don't know if I want to keep you in here if you're going to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That kind of fucking rubbed me the wrong way now. But, yeah, so Andrea shows up to the governor's, and she fucks him. Oh, yeah, that's because Carol tells her, you got to give him the best sex of his life, and then you can kill him and end all of this. And then she's like, oh, my God, what am I into? So she goes to the governor. She tells him that she left, which I don't know how they even let her back in. I don't know. Unless they told them in the guard, because she comes back with a car. Rick gives her a car and a gun and a knife. And she went back. And then she tells them almost the same thing Tyrese and them said, like they're struggling, they're not being able to manage, blah, 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 blah. And the governor's like, doesn't say anything. He goes, "Oh, why'd you come back? Rick send you back?" And she goes, "No, I came back by myself." And all of a sudden that made his dick hard because he's like, "Oh, because you belong here. You belong on my dick." So they start making out, and she has sex with him. And I will say, what's her name? Laurie Holden? Phew, I forgot. She's pretty sexy. I'm not into blondes. And she's really gorgeous, actually. She's really, really gorgeous, and she's got a great body. So I forgot she was in. I was like, what has she been doing? She was in fucking The Boys. She was technically Homelander's father's ex-wife or girlfriend, I think. So yeah. So she was in that. So then I forgot this too. This is another bad part about the episode. They used to play music, right? I was like, they played songs, and then for some reason they played, this was a horrible song. And then I remembered my brain went to like a CD, showing a CD, and then like a still frame of The Walking Dead behind it, and it's saying the name of this episode, this song, this episode. I don't know if that happened. I gotta look it up. But for some reason, I feel like they promoted the CDs, or if they ever use a song, they promote it. Before this last thing, we're almost there. Yeah, they're playing this stupid song, but they played the song after. So before this, they basically is like, or after, I don't know what part this is at. All right, fucking Beth starts singing again. I was okay with it the first time. Now I'm like, oh my god. So she starts singing some shit, and Rick is like, tomorrow, like he's being the leader again. He's assumed the position as the leader, and he's like, tomorrow I'm going on a run. And I want Daryl, you to stay here, watch your brother, and watch everybody else. Hold the prison down. I'm gonna take Michonne and my son. And he's like, "You sure you could trust her?" He goes, basically, he's like, "Yeah, I think I can trust her now." I think he believes that he could trust her. So yeah. So they're gonna go on a run tomorrow to get the ammo and the shit that they need. Let's see how that works out. I think they should have left, but especially since they're not being watched at all. But then again, yeah, they're not being watched because. Andrea got to leave. Yeah, so Andrea has sex with him. She has an amazing body because she gets up at the end after she has sex with him and he's passed out. And she goes and she takes the knife out and she stands over him. And I went back to the time I saw this live when it aired. And I was like, do it. And then she doesn't do it. And I was like, what? And I'm trying to put myself in her position now thinking about it. And I can now, and I'm older, and I can see how she could be really confused. This guy did save her life. Technically, Michonne he found them and they nursed her back to health. He showed her this new community and told her that she could be a part of it with him. Now, yes, he's fucked up and he's crazy, but there's a lot of girls that fall in love with a lot of guys that got a lot of fucking problems. And there's a lot of guys that fall in love with a lot of girls, and the girls got a lot of fucking problems. So you necessarily can't control who you fall in love with. And that's Andrea's position right now, because even though he's fucked up and everything, she's in love with him. That's evident because she won't kill him. And she's thinking about the people that she loves too, which is her old family. But again, they kind of treated her like shit, but they still helped her, send her off. They didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't tell her she couldn't leave. They gave her stuff. They gave her a car and gun just in case anything happened. And then she even like, can you spare this? Because you guys have nothing. And then they're like, don't worry about it. You know, so I don't know. Yeah, that's how it ended. But they were playing stupid fucking corny ass music at the end. All in all, this was kind of a boring episode. Like I said, the best part was the reunion between Andrea and them. That was the best part. I don't know, this episode was okay. I don't know, I'm going to use all that other stuff. Anyway, besides all that bullshit, I did see the Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. I'll explain that in a different video. I have a Locals. It's like a Patreon. It's $2 a month if you want. I'm gonna put my live reaction to that there, probably next week if I have time, or next Sunday, hopefully. But I don't know if everyone's gonna like it, and I don't know if I'm gonna continue doing it. But I'll explain all that in that video if you want to see that video. So I don't know where that's gonna go. So I'm not gonna put it publicly because I don't think it. I don't know. I'll explain that, whatever. But anyway, if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.